doing? All right, I got to do something real quick. Mark whispered in my ear, this is probably the most important thing that we're going to do today. It's going to be quickly. I only have 4 hours on stage, so we got to go fast, okay? And if you've ever been to one of my presentations, you're probably thinking that is not enough time for Brent, so I get that. So what we're going to do, I'm going to skip right ahead. So if you remember, we did that if you sleep on your back, your stomach, and your side. Y'all remember that? Real quick, if you slept on your side, can you quick raise your hand? Okay, this is going to be very important. In a moment, I'm going to say 1, 2, 3, and when I say 1, 2, 3, I need you to smile, and I want you to just come with a hard clap. So not yet, but when I say 1, 2, 3, boom, you're like that. Where are my stomach sleepers? Stomach sleepers. All right, that's why we're cool like the Fonz. I'm going to say 1, 2, 3, and that same 1, 2, 3, big smile, and I want you to do thumbs up like that, okay? Back sleepers. Okay, got some, okay, I don't quite understand it, but I appreciate it. So what I'm going to have you all do, I'm going to say the same thing, 1, 2, 3, and it's football season in the fall. I want you just to be like, yes, like that, okay? Very important. We all good? Everybody understand? Okay, 1, 2, 3, go. Oh, yeah. All right, let's see it over here. 1, 2, 3, go. Oh, yeah. So basically, if I stumble and fall, I look like I did an amazing presentation for the Gram, so thank you all so much. Either way, Instagram, this was a great show, so awesome. Before I also want to start, I want to tell a couple thank yous. Adrian, where you at? Thank you so much for everything, your hard work behind the scenes. Please give a round of applause. Thank you. One more round of applause for Tara. Thank you so much, Tara. And Mark, thank you. You all got your steps in today. I've seen y'all run around, and I appreciate it. We all appreciate y'all, everything y'all did. Thank you so much, Mark, for having me. I also want to tell the team behind the camera, thank you all so much. I appreciate y'all. Just so y'all know, get my good side. I got some money for y'all there. And Ryan, thank you. You're the editing person. Make me sound and look better than I do, okay? Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Awesome. Y'all ready? Me too. This is going to be good. So, who is bedhead? I've gotten that question a couple times. What do y'all do? I'm going to go quickly, kind of a few things we do. When we say everything, if you're in the mattress and furniture industry, we do everything from marketing, production development, education, consulting, leadership training. We do it all. Matter of fact, listen to Brett's presentation a couple days ago. We had to kind of scramble a little bit. We also do PowerPoint. This is my PowerPoint. This is what you were going to see, but I found out that graphics are important, so I kicked to my graphics team. They bedheaded it up and kind of made it a little bit better, so I get no credit for the graphics you're about to see. They did it all. But really what I want to say, Bedhead, we want to tell you all thank you so much. We love working with you. We think the world of you. And most importantly, at Bedhead, we love to have fun because we're with the greatest people in the world, and that's y'all. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Please give yourself a round of applause. As Ferguson says, we all are a bunch of mattress weirdos, but that's okay. It's all good. My name is Brent Batterman. There's a couple things I want to share with y'all. I'm not going to go through the list, but there's 2 things I want to share with you. One, I've been in the mattress industry for 20 years. And the second thing, most important thing, is I had a higher conversion than Steve Ferguson 3 years in a row. So don't matter what he tells you, it was me, yeah. Shopper Track does not lie. So every time you get on a slide, you got the real data right here. It's good stuff. Wow, what an amazing topic. Who's seen Back to the Future at least 3 times before they got here, or is it just me? Once, twice? Well, if you haven't seen it yet, I'm sure when you get back home, it'll probably be something you watch on Netflix. I love this concept. If it worked 25, 30 years ago, 1985, it should still work today. And I loved it when Mark called me and says, is there any topics that you can think of that worked back then that would still work today? The answer is absolutely. I got 3 topics that I'm going to share with you. If you are on the sales floor, if you just started, you've been doing it for 20 years, I believe I have some simple sales tips that you can immediately add to your presentation to make a huge impact today. Not tomorrow, today. They're going to be simple phrases. You don't even necessarily need to practice them. You just got to figure out where you're going to add them, and you'll make an immediate impact with the guest customer experience as well. Even if you are an owner, retail, manufacturer. Steal this stuff and use it. Help our team that's in the retail and provide a guest a great experience. Y'all with me? We also have some notes and stuff like that. And I also wanted to tell you, give a shout out to Sleeptronic, GigaCloud, Airweave, First Direct, South Bay, and all the other companies that sponsor this. I really appreciate it. Everyone today, because of them, are going to get a free t-shirt. So come see us after the end of the speakers, and we'll all hook you up on some free t-shirts. Thank you so much for that. And Qualify. Where you at, Qualify? Appreciate you. Thank you. So let's kick this off. So does anybody know what this is? I know some of you saw the movie. What is this? What is it? Absolutely. Who invented it? Doc. Anybody know his name? Edmund Brown. Yes, absolutely. And what does this have to do with the movie? 88. 88 miles per hour. And the reason that number is important because that was the speed the car had to achieve time travel. Now, if you know Bedhead, we like to have fun with things. We made our own. We call it the sales transactor. And this is going to power us through our presentation day on providing the customer a better experience. We call it BED. Befriend, educate, and disarm. We're going to go through all three of those topics today. And yes, we're also bringing the number 88. It's not going to be 88 miles an hour. It's going to be 88 seconds. Does anybody know why I'm going to talk about 88 seconds? Absolutely. You have about 88 seconds to make a connection with the customer. When they walk in your store, you have 88 seconds to connect with that customer. No pressure, but research shows 80% of customers, when they first walk in your store, they decide if they're going to buy from you or not, 80% of the time. What I want to do is provide those simple sales tips to engage and get that customer on your team or on your side right away. Make that first good impression. So when we're talking about that, we're going to talk about befriend. And if we're going to talk about befriend and where it all starts, it really is about talking about be a friend. Don't be a mattress weirdo. As my wife would say, be cool. So let's talk about the fizz. When I think of the fizz, and I just want to spend a little bit of time about this, is I think of before you get even to the store, getting mentally prepared, making sure your store is ready. Because if the customers come in your store and at your front door, they've seen some type of advertisement, there's something that they saw that they like, and they're at your store. So please, make sure your posters look great, trash is moved, and most importantly, make sure your open sign is on. I'm telling you, that's half the battle. Because once that customer gets to the door, it's your time to shine. This is what the customer's looking for. We need to meet and exceed their expectations because they're coming to your store for a reason. They're not sleeping well, but they also saw probably some marketing. And we have to match that excitement. If we don't, there's a disconnect. They probably won't buy. So let's talk about what that 88 seconds looks like. Fizz. And I'm going to use that fizz kind of to kick this off. And we're going to talk about the friend zone. The friend zone, I'm not talking about where Brandon was in college with all the ladies, the friend zone. What I'm talking about, Brandon, you have an amazing wife. You're awesome. I appreciate you. Please pay me next week. I'm talking about the friend zone. And what I mean is be a friend. What does that look like? And I love saying this. Make a friend before you try to make a sale. The customer's going to see the mattress. You have time. But what are you doing to make that first great impression? So why does it matter? Throw some answers. Why am I so focused on making a first great impression? Why does it matter? Y'all do this. Trust. What else? People buy from who they like. That's awesome. What else? What is that? Don't be a weirdo. There's probably a couple other reasons we're going to talk about. But is it teachable? Can you teach someone to be nice and how to make a friend before to make sales? Is that something we can teach? Everyone feel good about that? I agree with that. So how do we do that? Well, I have something. If there's one thing that you're going to get today, it's right here. I'm going I'm not going to be like the movies and wait till the end to get the punchline. I'm going to tell you everything you need to know. And what I'm going to share with you is the best information you're ever going to hear about sales. I will put everything I own, what I'm about to share with you, if you utilize it to the best of its ability, you will increase your sales. It doesn't matter about the traffic. I know that's important, not taken away from that. But I'm going to share you with the best knowledge of 20 years that I can give you, and I want you to tell every one of your associates and stores. Don't tell your competition because they'll use it. Y'all ready? Got your pens? I'm telling you, this is good. What I want you all to do, I want you to make a priority. With every customer that comes to your store, when they walk in your doors, I want you and your entire sales team to do this. I want them to smile. I was kind of hoping for like a cheer. Okay. No, Lucky I took that picture because that's the only excitement I probably have for my presentation, right? Smile, you're like, oh, Brent, come on. I mean, we do that. Really? I think earlier we just had someone on stage say maybe we don't. Do all of our reviews tell us that we have a great customer interaction? Do customers go, man, I can't wait to go shopping this weekend. Even if I'm not going to buy a bed, I have such a great impression. And I get it. If I was you all, I would have had the same reaction if someone stood up here and said, I have great news for you. I'm going to teach you the secret to selling. It's going to be smiling. I'm like, I know that, Brent. Here's the deal. Don't worry about it. I'm not that funny of a guy, and I get it. I was probably anticipating that. Because I used to go around the country for an organization and go to different meetings with leadership, and I said, we're going to go teach our team to smile. And maybe I'm over it. I'm trying to think if I'm really over it. I don't know. It happened in 2019, August 6th, 3 o'clock, Cincinnati. Probably still not over it, but I went in there, stopped my vacation early. It's okay. I love what I do. And I went there because it was right before Labor Day. We're not going to add something new. And I said, we're going to get the team fired up. We're going to have a Saturday meeting. We're going to go at 7:30. I'm going to provide coffee and donuts. It's going to be great. But I'm going to teach our teams we're going to execute. I had 2 area managers and a district manager. I said, y'all are going to help me. We're going to get the team fired up. Because I believe if we have energy and excitement, so will the customer walk in the store. And they're like, get your pens out. I'm going to drop some knowledge. They grab their pens. I'm like, write the word smile. We're going to get our teams fired up to smile when a customer walks in the store. I kid you not, one of the area managers goes, is that it? And I'm like, absolutely. Does it happen all the time? He goes, I think so. I'm like, no, it does. I mean, let's just go through this. Does it even happen outside of our stores? Think about the last 48 hours. Every retail store, every hotel, even in the airport, every place you went, did somebody stop, pause, and make you feel welcome and said, hello, how are you doing? And had a big smile? If you thought, yes, I can think of it, well, just imagine that. It stood out to you. So there's one. If you didn't have any of that experience, it proves me right. Either way, I am telling you this is important. So I'm telling this, and I could see in the area manager's eyes, they're like, early morning meeting, I have to call my team and tell them we're having a Saturday sales experience, and we're going to talk about smiling. This is going to be like the worst call ever. And I could also see, and you guys probably can't relate to this, but I could also see in their eyes, you know when you tell your team something, and they can't wait for you to leave the room so they can have a meeting about the meeting behind your back? Does that ever happen? And you can see it. It might as well just come across their forehead. And they were just like, they were talking to each other without talking. They're like, I can't wait till he leaves type deal. I kid you not. As soon as we were having that conversation, a customer pulls into the driveway in front of the store. And I was like, all right, it's a customer coming in. We'll pause the meeting. We'll pick this up. And as soon as that customer got to the door, I took 3 or 4 steps back of the store, and I did this. Smiled and waved. 2 area managers, 1 area manager started walking this way. Customers started going that way. They saw them going this way. They stopped, pivoted, went the other direction. You know what happens, right? They pivot, right? Gave him the Heisman is what we call it. The other area manager, he wasn't quite ready. He grabbed some shuffle papers. He puts them down. He walks up to the customers like, how can I help you? They said, no, thank you. Kept walking. District manager's uncomfortable, was not sure what's going to happen. I'm there. And so he literally walks up to that customer and goes, hello, I'm the district manager. Is there something I can help you with? The customer looks at the DM. It says, no, thank you. We want to work with him. They're pointing to me. I'm waving and still smiling. They go, we want to work with him because he looks nice and he's smiling. What did I do? took care of the customer. An hour later, sold him a $2,000 mattress and adjustable bed. I walked up to the area manager. They're great, love them. And I introduced them, and I said, could you write this ticket up? I don't know how to use GERS yet, and take care of them. They bought this mattress, that adjustable bed, and those 2 pillows. And then I whispered to the area manager, see you on Saturday, 8 o'clock. And left and dropped the mic. I am telling you, it works. It's so simple. We walk over it, we step over it. But if right now, if everyone in our industry, nationwide, if we gave that great first impression when a customer walks in and smiles, says, welcome to the store, I'm so glad you're here, I'm going to take care of you, we would change our business overnight. I believe that. Question is, do you? And will you get your teams to do that? Because if we can, I promise we'll elevate our game together. Now, the second thing is just as important. If you want to get your pens out, I hope you do, to lead up to that. Thank you. Appreciate that. Got a free t-shirt for you. Stand, wave, with smile, we talked about. The second part, just as important. Oh, just real quick. Do y'all know that 55% of communication is done with facial expressions? And smiling is a big part of that, just FYI, in case you wanted a fun fact. All right, second part, name exchange. Easiest way to make a friend before a sale is name exchange. Smile, welcome the customer, and do a name exchange. Again, sounds so simple, but do we do it? And I could talk about this for 2 hours. I only have 4, so I'm only gonna do 1 hour. This is so important, name exchange. We know it's important. We know it's important outside the stores. How many of you in the last 30 days met somebody and you couldn't quite remember what their name was, and you leaned over to the person you're with and like, what's their name again? Right? Because we don't do that. Even like today, we probably met some people like, God, I should know your name, and we're trying to look at their name tag. We're like, the whole type of deal. We know it's important. It's important for that customer. How many of you absolutely have a best friend for 10 years, but you can never remember their first name? It doesn't happen. Most of you probably go, I have a nickname for him, and we use that, and that nickname probably has a meaning. It's so important to us. I'll even take it one step further. I'm gonna go outside our industry. I think it's important to do that. In their circle of friends, maybe it's people at church or sporting events or somewhere outside of work. How many of you know a person or had an interaction with a person that you haven't met maybe only once, and then 2 or 3 months later they meet you again, and they remember your first name and your spouse's name and your kids' names, and you're like, wow, they're so nice. I can't believe how nice, like it stands out to you. And then you're trying to kick your spouse under the table and go, what's their name again? You know what I mean? Because you want to be on that same level. It's important. The opposite is true. Have you ever met somebody, they met you 2, 3 times, and they never remember meeting you or remember your first name? Don't you eventually think they're kind of rude? Or is that just me? Or maybe they keep calling you by the wrong name? It's important. Why is it so important to us? Because right here, a person's name to that person is the sweetest and most important sound in any language. Okay? And when you do that with a smile, it's huge. Have you ever had this? We always talk about customers, and this I'm just kind of going off script here, but have you ever been in the store and that one customer comes to your store, probably happens 1 out of, 50 customers, and they're excited to buy a mattress? And they walk up to you and they're like, I am so excited to buy a mattress. I had the best night's sleep ever. I just went on vacation. Has anybody ever had that? What should we respond with? Or what have you heard people respond with? Shout it out to me. Where'd you stay? There's one. What else? What type of mattress was it? Was it for anything else y'all hear? So, what size bed you might have heard? What brand? Did you look at the law tags? Type deal. How many coils? Could you flip it?
You got a picture of the tag?
Yeah, you got a picture of the tag, right? Here's the deal. Everyone in this room, here's a fact. Everyone in this room, we get paid on what we say and how we say it. And we're also judged by the amount of questions. So if you want to understand the person's depth of the knowledge of the product they're talking about or the topic, you can judge them by the level of their questions. So again, I believe we get paid on what we say and how we say it. So I believe if we kind of lean into that, if a customer walks in and says, I slept really good on vacation, our response should be like, What were you celebrating? Tell me about your vacation. Well, we're going to go find you a mattress, but tell me about your vacation. That sounds way more fun. We talk about building rapport, trying to make a friend before we try to make a sale. That is one of the easiest ways to do it. Instead of talking about a mattress, they probably won't know the name. Even if they did, we wouldn't have that name, and it'd be confusing. Confuse customers, a customer that doesn't buy. But we talk about building rapport, and we have 88 seconds. So find out where they went to vacation. I promise you, they'll enjoy it, have a better time. Questions are our friend. If you're on the sales floor, if you're in leadership, or if you're in management, the best tool that you have in your toolbox is questions. What are your questions you're asking customers? Are they open-ended? Are they gaining more information about them so you can help them? And then this one right here is the hardest, especially for myself. I was going to make fun of Ferguson, but I'm excited to make fun of myself instead. This one's hard for me. To listen. Ask great questions and listen. There's data that people judge us if we listen. They're such a good listener. I've been married for 12 years. I have a whole list of things on what not to do. If you want advice, I'm going to say here's what not to do. My wife has never yelled at me for being such a good listener. It has never happened. Even today. And I know better. She's like, you never listen to me. So ask those great questions. Have a great conversation and listen. It's a game changer. Speaking of my wife, here's another thing not to do. I'm going off script, but this is don't record this. You can, just don't give it to her. So 10 years ago, we were married probably for like a year and a half, 2 years, and it was just a normal day. And like during the week, it's like a Thursday, kind of early in the morning, and we both kind of get up at the same time, and I was going to tell my wife, good morning, I love you. And right before I told her I loved her, I looked at her face, and it was all swollen, red, like a rash, arms, and I leaned over to tell her I love her, and instead I'm like, ah! She woke up, and she's like, what? And I'm like, no! And I go, your face! And I keep backing up. And she's like, what's wrong with me? I don't know. And she runs to the house. Don't do that, by the way. I'm just saying, don't do that, right? She runs to, like, she's so hard to get up in the morning. Like, she hits her alarm clock, but that morning she jumped up. She runs in front of the mirror, and she's like, ah! Like her face, it was kind of scary at the same time. Like, her whole face was swollen, arms, whole body was broken out in a rash. Now, most people would call the doctor and set up an appointment. My wife did not. She went to the doctor. That's the difference. She didn't give them an opportunity to say they didn't have an appointment. She just got in her car and drove to her doctor. She's been going there for 10 years. She finds out her regular doctor's not there. But they said, Erica, let's get you in. Something's going on. We want to make sure you're okay. She sits down. They kind of did a couple tests to make sure she was okay, not an urgent emergency. Took them an hour, I get it, for the doctor to see him. She finds out her regular doctor is on vacation. And everything's crazy because they have the substitute doctor, I'm not sure if they call it, but I call him substitute doctor, was in for the day. Crazy. The office was not running very efficient. She gets into the room. A nurse and the doctor that's helping out walk in. The doctor's running behind, looks at my wife, writes a prescription, gives it to her, and leaves. My wife doesn't know what's going on. I'm not taking away from the doctor. I'm just saying my wife's not going, starts crying. The nurse that was accompanying the doctor says, Eric, I'm so sorry. Grabs her cell phone, calls the doctor who's on vacation, tells her what happened, and the doctor goes, put Erica on the phone. Hands the phone to Erica, and she goes, Erica, how are you doing? Tell me what's going on. Have you eaten anything unique? Don't worry, I'm going to get you taken care of. And in moments, my wife felt better, was reinsured. She goes, hand the phone back over to the doctor. To the nurse. She hands it back to the nurse. Nurse takes the call, and the doctor prescribes medication over the phone. She writes it down and gives it to my wife. My wife has the original note from the first doctor and the second note. I tell you that because what makes it unique, they are the same prescription, but the experience was different. You all are amazing people. And you have that same ability in your team. Every time a customer comes in your store, you have the ability to give them an amazing experience. And it doesn't have to be this over the top. Great questions, Questions are your friends, especially on the sales floor. And listen, take notes, because that information will be life-changing for them. We heard that earlier. And you all have that ability today to go make it happen. But it can be challenging. There's a lot going on. So the next part, I want to quickly recap before we go to the next part. Make a friend before you try to make a sale. This is what it's the B. Smile, name exchange, ask great questions, and listen. Next part, we're going to talk about educate. The E is educate. And we're not just going to educate, we're going to educate to excite. The customer comes in the store, we want to reassure that they came to the right store, they're seeing the right person. And the easiest way to do this is to sell the sale. We are going to, it's okay, I'll come back to that. We are going to sell the sale. And the easiest way to sell the sale, and the reason why you want to sell the sale, is because it gives it urgency. You can think of all the different things that you can talk about. When you're talking about the first 88 seconds with customer interaction, let them know they came at the right time, the right place, and you're going to get them taken care of. And the easiest way to do that is sell the sale. You don't have to tell about the whole ad, the whole menu, everything that's going on in the store, but you definitely want to confirm why they're here. And the easiest way to do that is call the sale by name. Because when you call the sale by name, it automatically creates urgency without you seeming pushy. Because when you give the sale a name and you personalize the event, it has a beginning and an end. The timing is right. Every one of us in the industry do this great at Labor Day. We crush it at Labor Day. Why? Because we're so excited. Labor Day. You came at the best time ever. It's our Labor Day sale. Right now we have 15 mattresses under $5.99. I'm so glad you came to the store. You have the best deal happening on right now. But do we, as an industry, have that same level of excitement all year long? Right now, in every store, is that same Labor Day excitement happening? And I'm not saying y'all. But maybe somebody else. Do you think they have that same level of excitement going on right now? And then they call you and be like, customer came to the store, they're not buying, they're looking for the be-back bus. Why? If we're not excited and we're not transferring that enthusiasm with the sale, customer's not gonna buy. Maybe they do a few times. And some of you are like, yeah, I've sold a few beds. I've sold a couple beds, Brent. I didn't even mention that we had a sale. Okay, then you didn't make it special. Now they're going to write a review. Because nobody brags about overspending and what they spend. They talk about what they saved. And if you don't create that environment to tell them what they saved, are they going to come back? Are they going to recommend their friends? I mean, how many of you said, yeah, I went to this great place yesterday, overpaid, you should go? I'll take it one step further. If you like, Brent, that doesn't work, selling the sale, calling the sale by name, being excited, here's what I want you to do. Next customer that comes to your store, I want you to smile. I want you to greet them, and I want you to say this phrase to them. You came in at the worst possible time to buy a mattress. Everything in my store is fully priced. You're going to overpay on everything that we have in our store, but I'm so glad you're here. See how long they stay in your store. They're gone. So if we know it works, why don't we utilize it? Because it's hard sometimes. And I'm not saying retail is detail. Are you just as sharp today at 10 o'clock in the morning as you at 9 o'clock at night? But that's what's required of us. 88 seconds. And I'm telling you, if we don't sell the sale with excitement, they're gone. So that, I believe, are 3 simple sales tips. Smile, name exchange, ask great questions, and sell the sale. I believe those things worked back 30 years ago. I believe they work today. And it's not me, but I've seen it done where some of my best mentors have gone to any one of the stores and sold mattresses, not because they knew what's inside the beds, and I'm pretty sure they didn't, but they leaned on those principles, connecting with the customer, because people buy from people they like. All right, we're going to go to the last one. Disarm with dollars. I like this one. So what does that mean? Well, today we're going to talk a little bit about 2025. I believe leaning into financing is going to be key. And I know rates and all that stuff, and we can have a side conversation, but I only get another, I'm kidding, a little bit more time with you, and I want to just kind of cut to it, and we can talk afterwards. We're going to lead with financing, I believe, is the key to giving a customer a great experience. We're going to speak to monthly payments, and we're going to be excited and congratulate them that they found the right mattress. Now, some of you probably didn't know this, but I am from South Dakota. I grew up in the 90s, and if you grew up in the 90s, I don't care where you lived, you probably wanted to be like Mike. Any Michael Jordan fans back in the day? Oh, man, I wanted to be like Mike. I loved it. And I remember it was from my 8th grade year going to my 9th grade. I was going to try out for the JV team. And I wanted to look and be like a professional athlete. And my goal wasn't that high. I just wanted my own pair of basketball shoes because, like the professional athletes, they always, I saw them, putting their shoes on the sidelines, getting ready, and they just had their own shoes. For me at that time, my shoes were one pair of shoes. I wore them for basketball, every place, church, school, like there's one shoe. I wanted my own shoes. And Jordans, I think, were $125 at the time. I could be wrong, but I felt like it was. And I went to my dad and I was like, Dad, I would like my own basketball shoes. I'm gonna try out for the JV team. And I was thinking about getting some Air Jordans because I saw the commercials. And I had this vision, like just being a rock star athlete with my own shoes, And my dad's like, that's a great idea. And I'm like, that's the easiest sale ever. But he had a but in there. He's like, but you're gonna have to pay for them yourself. And I was like, really? Like, oh, fine, I understand. I was like, but where am I gonna work? And he's like, I got an idea for it. You can mow your great aunt, you have 2 of them, Aunt Tony and Aunt B, true names. You can mow their yards. And all summer you should have enough money and you go buy your shoes. And he goes, you can actually mow our yard and I'll pay you a little bit too and you should have enough to buy them. I'm like, okay, that's fine. Now here's the problem. My aunts were amazing, but most of the time they paid with cookies. And you can't, that doesn't really make a good currency. I can't even make this up. And I had to say thank you because my dad was in the corner watching me. I'm like, thank you, I appreciate it. And I'm thinking how am I gonna buy shoes with these cookies? They're good as I eat them. But sometimes they paid me with little cash. My dad hooked me up. And I spent some of it, but I remember saving about $65 that summer. And again, I spent some of it. But I was like, man, that's enough pair of Jordans. But I didn't care because I reached my goal. I was gonna have my own pair of basketball shoes. And I envisioned I was gonna start. Now, what my option were Converse. And I'm not taking away from Converse, but let's be fair. If you're in the 90s, there are no Jordans. Do y'all relate with me on that? Fair? But I'll never forget this. When I walked into Shields, if you don't know what Shields is, the greatest sporting stores in the Midwest, talk about it later. I remember this as clear as day. We're walking into Shields, and my dad stopped me in the front door, and he said, Brent, great job taking care of your aunts this summer. Took out his credit card, gave it to me, and said, go get yourself a pair of shoes. I was like, absolutely. I took my $65, I put it back in my pocket, and I bought a pair of Air Jordans. Are you kidding me? It was such a better environment. It was a better shopping experience, and I was 2 inches closer to dunking the basketball. I promise you that. So you ask me about financing. I say we should lead with financing. Why? Because we're putting money into the customer's pocket. They can have a better experience. They can get what they want. Just like when I was shopping for my shoes. Most of the time, we wait till the end to talk about it. But I would encourage us to lead with it. We don't have to tell, again, everything that we have, but we can just mention it very briefly. Oh, by the way, we have great finance. We have great financing for 6 months up to 5 years and a no credit needed option. Short, sweet, to the point, you just let them know you have it. Now, some of you are probably wondering, how'd the mowing the yard go? It went pretty well. Matter of fact, I did such a good job. My dad still makes me mow the yard 40 years later to pay off those shoes. I should have looked at the fine print on those because, wow, did they have some interest on them. So, what is the number one objection when it comes to finance? Why doesn't everyone lean into it? If it makes sense and we're helping the customer, want to help the customer, why doesn't everyone use it? And again, I'm just giving a couple examples. I know there's additional information in this, but what I hear most of the time is because it costs me money, it's not free. And I understand the environment we're in and the interest rates, and I really do. But I think there's also another side of that coin. If you wait to the end to use financing, it's a cost, both to the customer experience and you if you use it to close. I promise you that. You might as well just give them free pillows as well, because you didn't elevate the experience and they didn't get a better bed. They got what they want and use it close. And I'm not necessarily taking wrong with it. But if you lead with it and you use it at the beginning, it can be an investment in their experience and they can get a better bed. Now, just because I'm talking about this financing, I don't want you to take it out of context and just say, the only thing you should do is talk about financing. Customer walks in the store, I'm like, how are you doing? What's your FICO score? I'm not saying that or suggesting that at all. You'd be surprised how many emails I get on that. But I do think we should pepper it into our conversation. And if you think of pepper and what it can do for an entree, if you lightly pepper it in, it can enhance the entree. If you use too much pepper, it will ruin the entree. Any one of these things, including leading with financing, is like lightly peppered in. Simple statement. We have great financing from 6 months up to 5 years and no credit needed option. Most of the time, they're going to say, not interested. And I understand, because if they say yes, they kind of bought a bed and they're not quite sure. It's only been 88 seconds or a couple minutes. But if you lightly sprinkle it and just, hey, we have great financing. And the other reason I tell you that is because I care about y'all. I also know that 40 to 50% of customers, when shopping for a mattress, the first thing they look for is financing. It's more important than the name on the front of the store and the brands that you carry. They look for companies that have great financing, especially now. But still, with all that facts, people come up to me and be like, Brent, I have so many customers. They want to use their credit cards and get points. I want to be very clear. Get me on this. If a customer comes in your store and wants to buy an amazing purple mattress, power base, and purple pillows, and gives you their credit card, do not talk about financing. Go to the desk and write up the sale. That's what I call lay down, and Stephen Ferguson, expert on those types of sales. Ask him about those. Do not talk about financing and sell the purple mattress. However, for the rest of us that have a lot of customers coming in and don't have a lay down, I get it. But let's look at the data. We talk about being data driven. So let's look at the data. When someone does buy a mattress, let's look at all the different ways that they can purchase a mattress. Cash. If a person buys a mattress with cash, the average transaction nationwide right now, I got the information from our folks, $500. If somebody uses a credit card to get their points, American Express, average credit card transaction with a mattress is $800. Lease to own, $1,100. Just to give you an idea, when a customer uses great programs like lease to own, they spend $300 more on their mattress. And if you think about an $800 to $1,100 mattress, the upgrades that you get, there's a difference on feel. Secondary financing, $1,800. Long-term financing, $2,400. Go back to my statement. If you lead with it, it's an investment. You wait till the end, it's a cost. Here's the deal. I heard this. Traffic's down 10, 15, 20%, whatever it is. I cannot promise you more customers. If I could, I would, and I would charge you for it. I would give you all the customers I possibly could, but traffic is down. So if you can't grow your business with traffic, you have to do in other areas. $2,400 is like seeing 3 times as much traffic if they use a credit card. It's 3 times the volume. It's 3 times as much cash to the bottom line, if you will. If you aren't getting the traffic, you have to look at other ways. And I promise you, if you lead with financing, it's like seeing 3 times as much traffic because you're growing your ticket. Now, here's another interesting thing. I got this data. Approval rate. Right now, between 60 to 70% customers are getting approved for prime tier 1 financing. Does anybody want to take a guess on what the average approval, like a Synchrony Wells Fargo, is right now? $5,500. So let's take that. You have a 60 to 70% chance of getting a guest approved. If I said there's a 70% chance it's going to rain tonight, how many of you bring a rain jacket? You have a 70% chance of getting someone approved. Lean into that. For average ticket's $2,400. Average approval is $5,500, gives you $3,100. I'm not good with math, but I guarantee for $3,100, your customer can get some pillows and one of those things that goes up and down and have a better experience and better sleeping experience, a better product, a better sleep system. So you probably saw this come out recently. The new iPhone, and this is so interesting to me. AI is everywhere, even in the new iPhone. I mean, I still remember when Zach Morris made cell phones look cool. iPhones are amazing. Have you seen this? The new 16's coming out with AI. Have you all seen that? Do y'all notice that it still hasn't been released, the upgrade yet? It's going to be out in 2 weeks. And when you get the upgrade, it's going to cost $8,100. So you haven't seen a lot of that because they're not advertising it. The new iPhone 16 is going to be $8,100 when it's all said and done. How many of you are going to stand in line for the upgrade on the Apple 16 for $8,100? How many of you have kids think that you're going to buy them that $8,000 phone, right? If you have an iPhone, I want to say congratulations because you also already bought an $8,000 phone. How can Apple be a $1 trillion company? Because we all buy $8,000 phones every 2, 3, 4 years. You're like, no, we don't, Brent, I promise you. I hear you. But if you look at your monthly payment, when it comes to your phone, it's about $125 nationwide. The average person in this room pays $125. You take $125 times 60 months, that's $8,100. If you've had a cell phone for 10 years, which most of us had, congratulations, you spent $16,000 on your phone. That's wild, but we do it. So you talk about a product that we have to offer to help people sleep better, get improved, speak to monthly payments. Because I find it interesting because I've seen so many associates. They're amazing. They're taking care of the customer. And they're like, well, how much is that purple mattress? And they get like this confidence. They're like getting ready for a race. And they walk up to the customer because they believe if they sell it with confidence, the customer will say yes. And they go, $8,000. I've never seen a customer like, that's great, fantastic, perfect. I'll buy 2. I never hear that. Most of the time it's like, what else do you have? So for me, if I was on the sales floor and I was showing them an adjustable bed, they asked me how much it was, I'd say, depends. Are you using your money or my money? Because if you use my money, it's only $125 a month. If you use your money, it's $8,000. Whatever's easier for you. I'm going to say it again. Your money or my money? Because if you use my money, it's only $125. If you use yours, it's $8,000. Whatever easier for you. Oh, and by the way, I just did a trial close because I assume they're going to buy from me. One more question, we're going to go to the last part here. Is it easier for you to get 1 yes with a customer or sell them 7 items? Is it easier to get 1 yes or 7 yeses on the sales floor? 7's easier? 1's easier? Gotta get the 1 first, absolutely. Overall, I would say 1 yes is easier. Because I believe you talk about giving the customer a great sales experience, and if you want to sell a mattress, a power base, pillows, sheets, mattress cover, warranty, delivery, at what point do they say you're just trying to sell me everything and you have a bad experience? When you're buying stuff, at what point do you like, what are you doing? Whoa, hey, pause. I say bundle everything and go for 1 price. Right now, you can get an entire sleep system for $125, includes your pillows, your sheets, your protector. Those things that go up and down, we can deliver as soon as tomorrow. That's included, and you get a wraparound warranty. Get the whole sleep system. You'll sleep better. You'll thank yourself. It's less than your cable bill. Now, most customers are like, well, I don't need all that. Brent, just give us 1 pillow. Use this. I'm telling you, this is great. Look at the couple and say, perfect. You can just get 1 pillow. It'll save you $3 a month, and you all argue who's going to get the better pillow and the better night's sleep. Save $3 a month. Most of the time, they're like, only $3. We'll get 3 pillows and get those 2 sets of sheets. Bundle it. Last question. Who is wiser? Yoda, Spock, or Dr. Brown? Let's hear it. Yoda, Spock. No Dr. Brown's, he invented a time machine. He doesn't get any love. Okay, that's cool. I say go back to it. Questions are our friends. Maybe it's the wrong question. It's not about who's wiser, but imagine if all three of them combined forces and you had Jedi Spock. Imagine that, right? Watch out, Darth Vader. Because here's the deal. On your sales floor, you have multiple options for financing. I don't think one is better than the other. And sometimes we utilize that this one's good and this one's not. And here's what the customer hears. Sorry, you didn't get approved for Wells Fargo, but I have this other credit for you. Don't be careful because it has 400% interest, and if you don't buy it, you're going to spend the next 30 years paying for it. Maybe an exaggeration, maybe not. But our job is to take care of the customer. We're not necessarily their financial advisor, but we're there to provide them best options possible. And it leans back into we have great financing with easy, affordable monthly payments. Because what a customer needs to hear and what they should hear, congratulations, you got approved for this, and tell them their terms. Be upfront, be transparent, but tell them what they got approved for. Don't tell them what they didn't get approved for. Tell them what they got approved for and let them decide if it works for them. Because you all do a great job. You take care of the customers. You have amazing product. Lean into that and give them the options and the line of credit to get the right mattress. I believe that with all my heart when we lead with finance and we speak to monthly payments and we give them the congratulations statement. We give them a better bed, a better experience, and they're going to come back more to your store than without it. I end with two things. Be excited when they come in your store. Let them feel that, because it comes down to this simple thing. People forget what you say. People forget what you did. But they will never forget how you made them feel. Thank you all.